Hey guys, Kevin here with Kingpin Social, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about relationships. I'm going to start this off with a quote from Mr. Albert Einstein. He said that if he had 60 minutes to save the world, he would spend 55 of those minutes defining the problem and 5 minutes creating solutions to that problem. And what I've come to realize is that the world is filled with many problems. So, using Einstein's advice of defining the problem, I started to try to define what does the problem-solving process look like? And ultimately, how do we best solve problems? And what I've come to realize is, well, there are some tools that we can use to problem solve. And the two tools which I actually find are the same are simply relationships and math. These, in my opinion, are the greatest problem-solving tools that exist. And ironically enough, I believe that they are the same. But that is another video for another time. So back to the idea of defining. What is a relationship? When I asked myself this question, I started to, well, look on the internet, look at online dictionaries, and these were some of the definitions that I came across. A relationship is the state of being connected or related. The association by blood or marriage. The mutual dealings, connections, or feelings that exist between two parties, countries, people, etc. Logic and math are another name for relation. All of these things I was able to find online, but all of them were somewhat different, and a lot of them talked about different things. So for me, I really started to think, okay, what is the simplest definition of a relationship? And what I came up with was a relationship is simply an exchange of value. Now understand that value is a very vague term. Anything could technically be valuable to, well, anybody. One man's treasure is another man's garbage, who knows? But if you actually start to look at examples of different relationships and the exchanges that happen within them, things start to become a little bit more clear. So if you were to take something like biology, what is it? Define it. Biology is essentially the study of living organisms and how they interact with each other. The human body is a great example because within the human body there are many systems, many organs, many cells, many functions, all of which are related. They all interact, they all exchange some type of value, whether that value is energy, whether that value is information, whether that value is nutrients. It's all of which very important to, well, the biological systems that is your body. Another one that you can look at is chemistry. Chemistry is about understanding the world on a fundamental level that consists of these elements and compounds that everything is ultimately made up of. So to understand those things, to break them down and understand the exchanges that happen between them, how do things break down to the elements and how do things build up to their compounds? Math, like we talked about before, is another type of relationship that you can have. But the values that you exchange in math are numerical. Now, people. This is probably the relationship that most people are most familiar with. But these exchanges are based off of a completely different type of value. They are based off of what people need, which usually comes from survival, like food, shelter, water. But it also is based off of emotion, because all human beings are emotional beings. So now that you can start to see different types of relationships in different areas, you can start to realize that if you can exchange value with something, you can build a relationship with it. And what that tells me is that everything is a relationship. And this is why it's so important. If you can exchange value with it, if you can like it, if you can dislike it, if you can love it, if you can hate it, you can build a relationship with it. So my next question, why are we never taught how to build a relationship? And the answer to that question is, well, it's a very complicated one. And more so than why, is starting to understand, well, how? How do you build a relationship? What's the foundation? What are the fundamentals? And this is the question that the basis of all of the other videos are going to be built upon, is trying to gain an understanding of how do you build a relationship with anything. And if this is something that interests you, stay tuned. And if this type of conversation or these types of ideas are something that you're interested in, feel free to check out our website at either kingpinsocial.com or kingpinlifestyle.com. This is our blog. And that's it. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.